little bitch for tonight. A little bitch. Um, and try to put some thought together with 2024. Little bitch. I think we just entered the 7 years, the 7 last years. There's a great tribulation in ways. It's the tribulation and the great tribulation. It's the tribulations. Um, we have 2023 that if you're alert to what happened during 2023, you realize that the comprehension is all put together to be comprehended. In the mean that I like to put the like when you separate imagination and reality to give you the truth. 2023 is kind of that serve there that the ideas are firm in the that's always in the affirmation of the people. That has nothing to do with the real reality. You gotta understand that. That's the perceptivity of the masses. The real reality is way ahead of that. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't function as long as faith is not established. So we're talking about the conviction of the mass here. And that's what is important to be followed, not the hardcore high tech, because it's all there. The hardcore high tech. We have Biden. I think that explains enough. And now many more before Biden. If frickin' Papa Bush wasn't a frickin' clone. All to say that they probably had clone in the old Egypt. Whatever. We're not there. So your three is kind of your first your first ability to be able to comprehend that there's a lot of warm idea in the closet. They're just about to be realized. And like I was just saying, for the fact of the convictions of the mass. All that to say that um, everything is in a way, if you just look a little bit, all the systematic is already all there, imposed, functioning, working. Everything works like 2024 will work, but with no consciousness, which 2024 will offer the consciousness. That telemedicine bullshit, healing through Wi-Fi and all that garbage, will, if you will, get popularized this year because you get your COVID injection shot. That is the principle of antenna that will be able to really put an effect on you biological wise, which is not said that way. We have received a RNA shot, which is bullshit. You got injected with a whole bunch of nanoparticle, robotic, like full-on mechanic, if you will. Very little biological other than how can I say noise for the freaking for the tape, for the magnetic tape for your cell, a whole bunch of biological they were kind of half strand of DNA ready to kind of replace your real DNA. But it's a whole bunch of garbage that the both together are might be much more advanced that I have the knowledge today to explain clearly, because I'm clearly not explaining it clearly. But it's really much your mark of the beast for Babylon's establishment. For what men will create for a machine to help you in your health, which is that telemedicine. That'll be really put down in power, if you will, this year in a manner of solidifying it in the consciousness for the clearness of the informativity on the subject for the people interested about the subject. So everybody that have a problem in health will be presented with that offer that you can get a nap and heal your diabetes, if you will. They'll be like the big news. I bet. These are bets. I don't put too much money on it because I don't have any. I have pesos, if you can call that money. So just because you're four is the four of the biblical that always is there for your four quadrants. So you have pinpoint truth verified in your face past hope. You have past hope. You have concrete verification of your prophecy or your systematic. So if I'm wrong this year, if the numbers are right as I put them there for a chain of event, things should becomes real clear for the positioning of that entrance of the seven last year. The first year of the 7 last year, I have, if you will, hope that God will really clarify that for us to say that we're entering that fourth for the reason that I'm ready to accept by posing them there for the numbers. You can say whatever you want about the fakeness of the numbers and this and that, doesn't freaking matter. It's not reality that you built with your hands, it's reality that you convict on people. So we're looking at the movement of the mass here. Everybody around the world today is 2024. And if you're a specific religion and you see another date, you're just one particulate. Everybody sees 2024 entering in position here. Next year, 2025, the five is, it's like the number. It's the number of the men for sure, but it's the number of the hand too. It's the number of the. I mean, it's a completion of Babylon. Babylon will be like at its apogee. So in 2025, you probably the whole planet will probably run on credit point. backed with the blockchain kind of thing, and the BDC or some freaking bank that maybe there'll be 10 bank for the 10 kings, who knows, whatever. But it's in a way the installation of that new world order that'll only be there for a year. Because then you enter 2027. In 2027, it's the year of the perfection, and if you will, it's it's like an achievement, a complete achievement. It's the seven. It's kind of a final number in many ways. It's your end of the week. It's the close up of things that the systematic of the hand and the whole story of the beast, which is our creation on reality, that'll finish off his days with the 10 kings. And the 10 kings hate the whore because they're entwined with the Antichrist. They want to get rid of that technology because they want to get the whole thing on spiritual power and introduce Antichrist. And that's pretty much what, if you will, Babylon will do by offering you very good, but at a very hardcore price, if you will. And a realization or a vision of being cheated, or a humongous possibility of being cheated, and that's why they talk so much today with all that bullshit about your privacy. And there's a couple facets of that privacy, of course, but everybody has a singular kind of frequency for its DNA. Therefore, you become like a very hard to open box, if you will, if somebody would inject information in you. That takes all that biosecurity kind of language into consequences that they're using the uniqueness of your DNA or your whatever, your magnetic tag. So the person has to find that it's in you that the information reside. You don't fuck how much time it's been done to you, and you have no fucking idea, other than you feel a bit tired this morning. You have no idea how much you have been serving the machine during all night. For frickin' information war somewhere, and it went through you at one point. Just sucked dry all your energy. And that's established today, but it's not part of conviction. It's not part of conscientization. Nobody is conscious of that. And that'll be this year. People will start to be conscious, not on that side, but on the side that, oh, Wi-Fi will be able to heal me. Next year, full on that way. 27, like I say, that way becomes a bit irritating for a bit of the lust of magic and the feeling of oppression entering, and then the revealing of Antichrist and the manifestation of the ability of having all that for free and not even needing the computer for it. And then 2028, an 8 is a 2-4, it's a double quadrant, it's like two complete east-west, north-south, if you will. For the the mind inabilities of realizing the whole idea in the both direction, that you completely fervent into the power of being able to imaginate your power into realization as the offer of Antichrist, or realizing that you're sucking the substance of spirit drive for your emotional disbalance, comfort, rectification, disbalancing the harmony of the earth, and putting everybody to death into a war that it's just because you're not using your brain that you don't see it happening to the whole thing. And that's where that realization in 2028, poof, will create that polarization. And then when people will realize that their magical power bullshit is destroying everything, and it's sucking dry all the life substance, if you will, bringing the whole thing in a uncontrollable disbalance if participation continues. And those have been witnessed around time many other times. And these are your Sodom and Gomorrah and all those things. Your Giza pyramid in the middle of a freaking desert when it was the most lush place on earth before. All those things. You get the power of that when you displace the powers of reality through the power of intelligence, on capturing the essence of intelligence for the build-up of the concretization of that reality that can be rendered into Play-Doh, and do what you will with it through the power of your mind, which is not your mind but Satan's one, becoming a channeler. Because what you're gonna do for balance to be able to satisfy Satan, so we render you a gift, needs to satisfy Satan. So you need to do exactly what God's hate. Hardcore. Depending of your demand. But when there's only few living trying to rip apart that remain of spiritual power, imagine what you need to do to be able to convince that Satan that you're the one on 50. But that's what the Bible says, that if God doesn't put an end to it, it'll go right to a suck dry on everything, and it'll completely suck dry everything. And there won't be any possibilities anymore. And I mean, it'll... How can you say? That's once you have no life substance left, you can always take everything else left and still cut a deal with Satan and transform all those forms into life substance, and you start seeing the mountain reducing inside around you, or I mean whatever the freaking thing can be dealt with the transferring of power of that systematic, that God has intelligence into a balanced system, that we're cheating all the time. That's why you keep your hands in your pocket and you take care of other people around, so you don't fuck up all those balance. And you understand that your amount of power is tremendous, but here's not the time to do it because the place is already intellected, freaking perfect, so you shouldn't be touching nothing, and especially not harvesting any powers. That'll come later. Because you have those powers, so sit on it. Frickin' respect the comprehension of the perfect work. Once you understand that, then start creating a little brain fart and see what that does. Because you have understood the idea of the grandiosity that you have perceived of reality. And you have acknowledged its complex freaking balance. That it needs a whole bunch of juice of intelligence to be able to put all those ideas into that perfect functioning movement. That is eternal if you don't touch it. But it's not because you fuck around and implant more intelligence into it. And you fuck the balance right up because you put intelligence into it. And that's what the transgression is that's what you're accused of, and that's what's gonna become right clear at that 8 there. When you understand that reality is ideology over comprehension, that freaking works around with intelligence, idea comprehension, that's where reality resides. Material has nothing to do with any of that bullshit. It's just to represent your false idea in your heart, how much you can destroy the balance. You have it in your face through what you have built. So there's no argument. That's where you're guilty. Because you have took power down here. You have not sat on it and appreciate and examine the perfect work. But the cool thing is, as soon as you realize that, you sit on it and realize the perfect work. So how fucking destroyed that shit is doesn't fucking matter. It's still perfect. Still perfect. It just shows you how much fucked up it is to try to use your own brain down here. Not your place to do that. Your place is to regard what was perfect before. Or what is perfect now. Because, I mean, it's quite easy to go back to the perfect natural. Nature is all over the place. You'll never fuck it up to the sense that, like I was just saying, that if God don't put brakes at the end there, that fucking thing get all sucked to a grain of salt, a grain of sand. The whole universe. Because the universe is not real, it's imaginary. There's nothing real in reality. What's real in reality is the effect of the heart to have comprehended the history of the humility in the respect of regarding the perfect balance that have been established for you to observe, either distorted or natural, for an accusation or a verification of that perfectness, for the regard of that eternity that you can perceive out of it, because of the non-pollution and the kept into its natural aspect. It only takes a man to fuck up Mother Nature. Mother Nature by herself, she's eternal. It only needs a human to fuck it up. And it's not because we're bad or anything like that. It's because that's the fucking plan. We don't give a fuck about reality. That's all there is to it. It's just a freaking book in a bookshelf. Reality is nothing. It's like a freaking comic book. What is not nothing is your comprehension of that comic book. And especially that you have fucking comprehended that you're participating into a comic book, then you should get your ass out of that freaking comic book and start getting the affliction of the heart of listening to that story that the comic book is telling you. That there's little morons down here that thinks they're better than the states that they have been born in. And they think they can rectify it better. How fucking funny is that? Your accusation is there. If you don't get that in your heart, you get fuck all and you go to hell. And that's as simple as things are. That's your appreciation of life, that you think reality belongs to you. You have no concept of what life is. Because you have no comprehension. You have to comprehend that that reality belongs to everybody. It's not yours. Yeah, but I paid for it. Yeah, man, fuck it. It's still not yours. And I mean, you're stupid. It's yours. Then fucking take it. And go die in your house. The freaking solution's not there. I mean, if you think that reality is really yours, well, it's your stupid fucking shit that you deal with. You're too stupid to realize anything. When you're gonna die, what you bring with you? When you think that that house and that car and it's all yours because it's on paper yours and being lawyered and notaried and all that garbage, that's the kick of the devil. He's laughing at you. No, fucker, it belongs to me. God gave it to me. You little peddly fucking human that barely can last 100 years. Me, Satan, having been there made with God fucking tapping each other's back and still today. So that's your ideology, buddy. That's Satan. Satan wants to be realized. 2028. In 2028, you'll see all that. Holy fuck! Now I get it. The ideal wants to become real. And because we're scared of dying, we have brought that freaking idea real. Holy fuck. 2028. Super cool because you can get everything you want. Everybody's so ecstatic, everybody goes for it. But then that remnant starts to yap his freaking mouth because it's understood on one side and understood on the other side. But that's the beginning of past hope because you have past Antichrist. And so that spiritual reality have become real in front of your eyes. You're not an elect anymore if you realize it. You're a participant of the assistance. Because Antichrist have been realized. So there's no more hope. Because you have seen it. Now it's no more hope, it's real. So the elect time is closed. Poof. It's pretty much to say that your 144,000 have been selected, end up selected. I mean, you cannot select them much more after. I mean, it's the return of Christ is the introduction of the Antichrist. Because that's your point in time that'll become a complete, absolute certitude. I assume that'll happen in 2027 for 2028 jacking up all that hope. We'll see. But for now, for what I can see, 2027 would be the year of the Antichrist. 2028, all that hope for the realization of the spiritual realm will be jacked up. Well, everybody will be excited about being able to get everything they want out of that spiritual power without need of any equipment, that you go directly in there within your own self. You don't need a cell phone and an app anymore. So everybody leaves the machine and forgets the dollar, because what do you care about having a dollar? That spiritual realm feeds you, gives you your buzz. You can just go abroad and visit the earth and never be hungry or anything like that, and be in a perfect state of mind and peace and happiness and all that bullshit. And that costs a lot on the spiritual power realm, because it has to compensate for that misplaced emotion that comes from out of, I mean, it comes out of nothing. Peace comes out of comprehension, but you're not comprehending nothing. You just ask and it comes. And you do a little dance at the beginning of the year with the Antichrist. And that lasts all year. Maybe. Because it's 7 years, buddy. So the Antichrist can tell you long planned things. He knows he's got but a short time. You. So that 27 there, if you will, it's that the up half and the bottom half of the, like, 2026, if you want, that'd be the year of the 10 kings. And then you divide that in half again, and then you have that half an hour. It's kind of a half an hour of silence, if you will, or something like that, where probably shit goes really bad, and you divide it in half. There goes terribly bad, and then Antichrist comes in, and then you get in that half hour, and that Antichrist starts to do his publicity and rectify things, and then it goes to that first years that it's the invasion, if you will, of that spiritual hope that Antichrist provides. And then at the end of that year, like I say, it's 2028, you start realizing that you're eating something that you're disbalancing. And then the 2029 will be, if you will, that beginning of the real war, where all the people that has an advantage will already be kind of way ahead on everything else, and everybody else will be freaking like crazy because they have no idea in what they are in, really. But the people that, I mean, it's not the people, but the people that already had a good friendship with Satan, when those things happen, as it happened on a generation that has no conceptivity of Satan too much, but a certain particularities, that becomes kings and queens, if you will, because they know how to use magics, and they always knew, if you will. And that's where these guys will, on the spiritual realm now, rage that war and suck everybody dry out of life substance. And that will be your exit point, because you do all that, but all that is always related to that conviction bullshit. That you do that through deception, and deceive and deceive and deceive, and eat the powers. But when you offer yourself, you offer conviction, which is, it's very much like if you feed oil and oil and oil by slowly sucking dry people out of their energy. You suck dry, you get the oil out of them, get the oil, but all of a sudden you poof, you crystallize the idea that you're caught in that machine that is not real but imaginary, but not imaginary, but on a comprehension base plane, and you just have comprehended the story, and then you remember, oh, that's what he meant, Jesus Christ, when he went and said he offered himself as a sacrifice on the cross, and you must walk to the cross. So you offer yourself as sacrifice for a very strong concision of the reason of reality, where everything else is getting sucked dry energy wise into deception. So bringing down and you get everything, instead of crystallizing, you jelloed, because you remove the comprehension to people, and that's kind of all that easy digest. But once you grasp the idea, and you grab the comprehension of the whole event, then you become a grain of sand, if you will, because your ideology cannot be displaced anymore. You're convicted, you have understood that reality, so you become super hard, and with that hardness you go and sacrifice yourself. So you become like a stick of dynamite into the machine that digests people, and you damage the fuck out of it, because you have voluntarily offered yourself to Satan, if you will. You have let yourself died voluntarily. I mean, at that point, it'll be easy to sacrifice yourself for, because that's how you'll be able to survive, is out of the life of other people. First out of the babies, and then once you won't be able to reproduce anymore, you'll be having to take out of other people. So in a matter, because I mean, those are things that are a bit more hard to imagine how they're gonna process in real reality, but I could imagine that you be kind of an equation that you'd be playing dumb, and you make believe the other one that he have deceived you, and then it's that transfer of power. What happened there when the exchange of power happened, that you thought you sucked my last bit of life dry, but that last bit of the little bit of life drive that was left in me is not a little bit of life drive, it's a humongous amount of hardcore concision, and that'll probably the ultimate destruction of you, and probably everything that thinks similar to you, all of your branch kind of thing, because it does more than affecting one people at that point, for however the Bible explained it. And if you want to take it for the simple sense, it's often said that offer double to Babylon for the double deceivedness. Render her double the pain, if you will. Because you created a deception of deceptivity, but it wasn't a deception of deceptivity, it was a deception of conviction. And you fucked the whole system right up there. Because, I mean, and you fuck the system, and that's the power that makes you enter into paradise. For the assistance. Because it's past hope that you have believed for the reasoning of the realizable reality for the opposition right in your face of it, that the whole thing has happened. Antichrist has been born. That's the cutoff point. That's the Holy Spirit leaving. And that's the return of Jesus Christ, which is you say that, but I say the exact contrary, but that's because you don't know the name of Jesus. If you know the name of Jesus, then you oh yeah, Jesus is truth. Yeah, exactly. It tells you that there's a fucking guy that'll come and take his name, and that'll be truth. So when the Antichrist showed up, that'll reveal truth. That'll reveal Jesus Christ. That'll be his second coming. Because you understood it the first coming when you received new birth. That you're gonna die for that bullshit. And you're working hard every day to freaking die well out of that bullshit by accumulating more substance of truth in you. And making a farce more and more of reality with more and more solid proof of being able to think light about reality. Which could be kind of a bit shocking, but that'd be because you're part of reality. And then reality affects you. I don't give a fuck about reality. I have comprehended it. I'm part of the comprehension of reality. I don't care about the idea, I got the story. You, if you want to fucking do that stupid story, go ahead. But I caught it. And I don't want to do it anymore. Fuck that. I don't have any more good idea for myself. I have no idea how to conduct myself in reality. It's a complete mystery to me what to do in reality. And I don't care about trying to do good in reality because it doesn't belong to me. But I look at reality going, I see it getting destroyed. And I understand that I'm pretty fucking lucky to have caught that fucking around with reality goes into its destruction. And the poor fucker that has put that reality together might have good reason to slap my pee because I fucked it up for him. You start wondering those things that, fuck, your dad told you all the time, don't fucking touch my tools. You don't know how to use them and you fuck them up every time you use them. Same thing with God, in front of God. What the fuck did you do with my reality? Look how you fucked it up. Why didn't you take care of people instead? That's what I put you in there for. And the fuck was good for you to play around with reality? How did reality answer you? Did you add good question with reality? Good questioning sequences? How did the trees have talked to you and the squirrels and the whales? Or did you learn more with discussion with peoples? Scary people. Big, bad, scary people that are playing a competition game. Whoa. That you have to protect yourself. Because they're gonna steal from you. Because they want all you want. You have to protect yourself. Everybody's scared. That's what the devil does. He makes us hate ourselves. Each other's, and then that's exactly how it transmits into. You, you love yourself when you have desire for material. That's what pride is, and that's where idealism comes in, and that's where it's like the vocabulary doesn't connect those principles no more. Because we have lost the weight of the word we're saying. And there's no consequences of the word used because you don't quite understand them anymore, anyways. And then there's the natural curse, because, like I was saying, how fucking abnormal it is to go along with life and not know what life is for. When you sit down 2 seconds and you think about that, there's only one thing that should come in your mind. What's that stupid fucking God? How much he hates me to have put me in that stupid fucking boat. That I'm here in reality with life and I have no idea what all that is for. I mean, to the point that at least I acknowledge of that. Because then you could be way worse, you could be thriving in it. And then you're really fucked. Thrive in reality, you have no chance for salvation other than breaking down and realizing that you're going nowhere. That's always a possibility, but that's, once again, that's not the way, but that's the way also. But it's not there. It's by understanding that it's not there that the other solution comes about. But if you think it's there and you will never access it in your life, then you're really fucked. Because you're gonna die thinking that was the shit. And it wasn't the shit. At least while you were alive, you attained that dream and realized that, nah, it didn't work, need something else. And then it provokes that discouragement that throws you right off, and you have to completely reconsider things. And that's exactly the phenomenon that I was explaining there with the 9. after the 8, that the 8 provoked the 9, that some remnant will cut on it, and then the other ones are just on the line there, and then a little bit of information, and plook, they fall the right side, and then the movement starts because the information's right there in your face, and you either hate it or you love it. But if you love it, you gotta leave your life behind. Then if you hate the idea, then you'll start eating grains of sand instead of oil, and that'll destroy you. So if you go the wrong way, you're fucked and fucked. If you go the right way, you're fucked and not fucked. Because you think you're fucked, but you're not fucked. You're getting your shit out. Because it's like the other party. It's a bit like a voluntary suicide, knowing how to make the adversary pull the trigger. Because you create hate in him that he hates you so much that he wants you die. Dead, just like Cain. Abel and Cain. That's the idea. It's very much like a suicide, just like Jesus. He killed himself in a way. I mean, he killed himself in all level. He knew that he was to die right off the bat. And that's not the equation you really want to look at, because that's the more or less realistic ideology. That's the divine ideology. It's not realistic. It's not the natural for the base of the divine. It's full on divine. If you look at it realistically, it's by saying truth in the face of the Jew that the Jew have provoked Caesar to put him into death. So verity and truth have been put to death for jealousy and desire to keep power, competitivity, all that kind of aspect that is completely out of comprehension. That's all emotional. You're kind of losing your shit intellectually because you're too proud. These are all the points of separation that you don't want any pride in verity. You don't want to have any ideology that thinks that it's important for themselves to furnish themselves a living in a future, living in a security in reality. These are like the terms, the more accusative of not having comprehended how real reality works. By cutting yourself right off of the importance of life, to be able to test life and experience life and feel the productivity and the protectivity of the spiritual realm on you, being in the control of God in your favor. So no more decision for yourself, because that comes from your heart, and you cut yourself from God with that garbage. For the intellectuality of the intellectual effort, for your biological opposement on reality, shouldn't go much more than feeding and sheltering yourself. being in a situation like we are today with the lush of civilization and all the stuff around, should be able to feed yourself and hide yourself for the night. I mean, with that intellectual effort. That's what's demanded to you for the reality. Not your Ferrari's payment. And that's your weakness and your control of emotivity. I, I got the 9 there, and then the 30-30, 20-30 division. New Jerusalem, New Earth, Judgment, White Throne, and the close up of Armageddon. I mean, Armageddon will last in a manner for the people that have understood. It's a year and a half, because it's a year and a half for the three. Once again, you divide, you always want to divide and redivide and redivide and redivide. That 7 is always a 3, and a 1 in the middle, and you divide with that, divide, and that becomes a 1.5 on one side, 1.5 for the other side for your 3. And close up of Armageddon, that'll be a a supernatural effect. I hate to say that, because it's all within the part of comprehension, but I mean it'll be supernatural for the ideology of reality. That'll be the peak of what reality can sustain for, because all that reality has a limit imposed by God. Like I was saying, God doesn't want it to get sucked right dry into oblivion. And that's where, like he says, he comes and he stops the thing when that division is completed. And that at one point there'll be something that I don't quite understand yet. But once again, there'll be a final into all those motions of powers. That there'll be a final conviction. That'll be in a way, the passage into that new dimension. That is the comprehension of the comprehension. For that explanation of all things, passing the intellectual level to a superior, altogether position not for the dynamic of thing, but for the change of environment. The environment, God changed the environment around us. It's a bit like you're burning out your tire on a patch of ice and it finally grabs asphalt. And it's an allowment of your ability of justified creation on things. So it will be the rectification according to your own force, but within the exchange of receiving missing parts right and left by rectifying weaker. It's very much like your teacher that grasp on new concept while teaching to his student. You comprehend for yourself by making comprehend another one. In the pureness of things. With the sole ideology of edifying everything at the most powerful within the right cause for how can you put that? The obviousity of the previous training that was that regard to respect and humility for your patience of comprehension before the applications of your power, knowing that the ideology is perfect already, that it's a waste of time to waste your mind matter into that substance, but perform into the analytic. You don't perform in the matter, you don't perform this systematic, you don't perform the ideology, you don't perform the substance of reality, you analyze the substance of reality. You analyze the action of reality, the balance of reality. The idea of reality. The conception of the grandeur, of the power, of the pride imposed intellectually on that previous perfect system that was established but not comprehended correctly, disrespected. For a basic moral value that has not been regarded the application of a so said better intelligence on what has been intelligenced already. For you to perform the modification and the rectification of your morals. You ask reality to rectify your morals by the ability of your intellectual. You're fucked. You ask reality to make you understand what's the value of eternity. Never you will find the value of eternity if you don't conceive of the permissibility of the offered by reality for you to pinpoint that essence of what could be eternity, which is comprehension. Comprehending the idea has no end and no beginning. You can tackle the idea wherever in the circle, it doesn't matter. The idea is linear and get built in the form of a tree, in a division of things for its performance and singularity. Divisions of things, complexity, achieving of less things by a multitude of more things, and by the exponentiality of the more things, a divergence of possibilities, but always comes from an exponentiality of complications and divisions. More and more complicated. To do more and more with the fucking machine. That in reality becomes more and more simple, but with more and more complexity. And you don't build out of the complexity, but you built out of the complexes. All the already approved ideology that you package in your systematization. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and oh, that works with this and that works with that. But these are already all big concepts that intertwine probably more than you can really perceive. Therefore, you're starting putting things together that you don't really understand the full potential, because you're only using some part of particularities of those bigger ideologies. Okay. So yeah, in 2030, 2030, I thought that in 2030 it would be the introduction of the new world order. That was my first thought. But I think I could see the end in 2030. That pushes another like 7 years short of my first prediction. So there could be another 7 years in there somewhere, or who knows, another 7 years? Fuck, do I doubt it. But we'll see. 2024 will tell it up, and then 2025 will tell more. But that's how she goes. That's how she goes. I mean, that's prophecy that you could get stoned for if it would go public and everybody would know about it. But I have some kind of a feeling that 6 more years the fucking key, man. There's not much more than 6 more years to go altogether. And six and a half for the blessing. Because there's another in Daniel, there's another thousand and no, what was it? Was it 42 days, a month and a half, or something like that? Blesses he. Probably if you can. I mean, that'd be the rapture for the freaking few that would get raptured. Cause you would live longer than the two witness that leaves hurt, that haven't been buried and leaves that 3.5 day unburied again, three and a half, 3. But that'd be living past that when you probably live the seven thunder on earth, I would guess. I think I'm gonna stop with that, but that'd be a guess. That if you can keep alive till you see the seven thunders on earth and get in the way in a way it would almost be like you'd be a spy in the assistance working for Christ. Just for the reason that you would have lived it all out for experience possibility wise, and that be because it doesn't have a name, that blessing. I don't remember a name for that blessing that Daniel explained. But you wouldn't be with Christ in the manner that you'd be with Christ, of course, but you wouldn't be him with his thousand angel coming down from the sky, and you'd be able to witness that happening from the reality perspective and see what that does while you're standing on reality. Just right to the end, when reality disappear from under your feet, if you will, that reality disappear and you never knew that, like they say, that few will never know death, and that be it. Right at the end there, that you would never die, but reality would disappear from around you. Burning fervent heat, all that shit, the element burn like fervent heat. And then you'd be with the population. But like I say, like space special agent, like just like Joshua, the good spy, if you will. For the possibility of conquiring bad within your flesh entity. Not that you're in control of it for, but for the reasoning of God for your afterlife task, where you're gonna stand there. He might need the ones that won't know death, just like Enoch on another time. But all that in the same manner for the, I mean, it's the same point in achievement for the intellectual reason and reasoning, that you go off like Enoch or Ezekiel, no, Ezekiah, whatever, the one with his chariot of fire. That there's no point for you anymore to be in reality, and there's no advantage for God. It's just like it was probably more useful for God to get in the face of other, to see that guy disappear like that, boom, and create that stir of spirit, and get more people on the, I mean, whatever is efficiency that he sees to use. But at one point in reality, when you have understood all the secret, and you have understood that it's extremely important that you don't use any of your own powers, if you will, and you won't be using that, by instead of being there and doing nothing, he comes and raptures you, a bit like it's gonna be the rapture at the end time, when he cuts it short the same way, that he decides that that's the end, that's the end. Alive, not alive, here, there, the separation is done. So let's finish time, and let's grab what's grabbable. Because after that, there's just the dissolution of the remnant. And you don't want that either. Once you harvest the grapes, you do your wine with it. You make it happen. Okay. Good night.